She is
Okay.
62-year female, lawyer by profession, now into philanthropy, hypertroph, use contact lenses, and now in cataract. She is an avid reader, play golf, loves driving and travel, want independence from glasses, especially using her iPad and driving. And she used to love reading books in the night also. So the choice was only left with Synergy because the feature she wants is this. And this is a live surgery kind of simulation, though it is not actually live surgery in that sense. We are doing docking, and this docking, as you know, all is gentle with the fluid base. The liquid optic interface will come into the cup. We are holding the eye with the vacuum. The vacuum applied is very, very low. And you can see the centration, as Dr. Maypal Ramuthian all have shown, that you need to bring the thing into green zone for minimum friction. And now we are going to start the scanning of the anterior surface of the cornea, posterior surface of the cornea, then the lens, limber, and the axis. The capsulotomy I prefer is pupil maximize because most often it gives a good enough size. And I love doing honeycombing of the lens and 4 quadrant or 6 quadrant depending on the situation. Majority of now cases I am doing 6 quadrants. Initially I used to do 4 quadrants. So the recording available for femtopart is for the 4 quadrant. But the surgery I will be showing you the 6 quadrant. So in this case we have done capsulotomy and we have done limbal relaxing incision also. And the limbal relaxing incision can be asymmetric, can be symmetric depending on the topography and the amount of cylinder. And I prefer using the dye in majority of the patient, though we know the capsulotomies are usually free-floating. But if some tests are left over, particularly the patients with RK or some distal cornea, then this kind of staining helps you to see that before you actually tear off the capsule unwantedly, you have all time the capsulotomy the way you want. Femto has done full job, so we are just pulling it in the center and showing that it is free-floating, so there is no need. And then with the needle itself, I can just press the nucleus, or with the hydrocannula, we can press the nucleus, let the gas bubble come in the anterior chamber. So you can see the gas bubbles are coming to the anterior chamber. And with this, actually the things is becoming easier because there is some kind of pneumodissection has happened. The viscoelastic is used. Majority of the patients I use methyl cellulose, but in cases where the cornea is compromised or the gradient is hard, a patient looks to be more uncooperative, then I use other high-end viscoelastic. And as everybody has said that you have to just go inside and you have to just divide the pre-chopped nucleus just to show it the efficacy wise. I'm just doing it in the center itself. Because if you go in the periphery and then drag, then you can actually help doing the chopping as you do in the routine phaco. So I'm doing from the center itself, and you can see that the pre-chopped nucleus gets cracked just by applying some pressure in the 2 different directions, that's all. So these kind of pre-chopped cataract is visible, and then you remove nucleus piece by piece. So you can see with the honeycombing, the phaco required power reduces too much. The stability of the Signature Pro is well known, and it is visible here also. And you can see that every piece is coming on its own, but whenever it is not coming, you have to just give the direction with the help of that dilator. The dialer I use, I preferably don't use any chopper. I use Sinskey dialer in these patients for the safety because the nucleus becomes really very soft. Even sometimes that you can end up, if you use the phaco power, the nucleus you can cut through and posterior capsule may be in danger, or sometimes you can go through the posterior capsule also. So I'm using dialer just to give you direction. You can see that some of the air bubble left in the anterior chamber, even that are not also moving. That is the stability of the fluidics, which you can see and appreciate. So this way you can go and eat all pieces. The nucleus ends up, and after nucleus, there is some difference between the routine phaco and the phaco with the flex. That the nucleus becomes more softer than the way it looks hard. So you need to go for reducing the parameters. You need to keep the phaco power particularly low. You have to be in the center and take care that you should not pass through the nucleus and puncture the posterior capsule. This is the epinucleus part, which I can remove with the this phaco, or we can remove with the irrigation aspiration also. Both way it is good. The way you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and do it. The cornea need to remain hydrated again and again. And at the end, you have removed all. And now I'll be using bimanual. And it is amply by use of the bimanual, you get more ease. I initially and since beginning, I using the irrigation and aspiration both sandblasted. And as Gaurav rightly said, that I always choose that irrigation cannula to do more of a posterior capsule polishing, and we can use both wherever you require it. Initially, we used to do anti-capsule polishing also. For that, the aspiration port needed to be sandblasted, but nowadays we are not doing anti-capsule polishing. The aspiration in these cases is different than the phaco because the cortex is got cut flush with the capsule. So you have to go behind the capsule to hold the tag of the capsule, and then only you can aspirate. And you have to need to change the hands. If you don't change hands, you can aspirate, but then you will be leaving more cortical fibers attached to the capsule. So it is better to change. That is the advantage of bimanual. There is no problem like subincisional aspiration is there or not there, because everything is in front, not subincisional. And after this, I would like to emphasize again the posterior capsule polishing, as far as possible, not on the center, but bit with the periphery, is also required, particularly for the lenses with multifocality and synergy, trifocal, bifocal, all kind of lenses. If you prevent the PCO, it is of big advantage. These lenses are very, very sensitive to even mild PCO. And I want to avoid doing YAG capsulotomy in them. So I do polishing all through, all around 360 degree, beyond the capsule, beyond the rhexis margin. So whenever optic fits in, because of the posterior square edge, the PCO is prevented later on. But before, if the cells get migrated into the capsule, there will be a problem. So I give a lot of importance to the polishing. This is a synergy lens. As you can see, 23 diopters, you are slightly hypermetropic. And with this, we are implanting. And you can see, appreciate the rings. You can see the rings are having in pair. Means there is one ring and parallel to that there is another ring. This is the same injector we are using for Tecnis, for years together, very comfortable, very smooth. I use the guarded delivery system with the screw. I don't use shooters, and you can just implant it as normal as you do. But at the end also, you should be very sure that whenever you implant such premium lenses, the centration is very, very must. Dr. Gaurav has highlighted that the section should not be leaking. I have my own way of doing that check. I don't do that kind of a dye check, but I prefer to do a hydration in slightly different way, which will come soon. So this is the implantation of the lens. Just for the paucity of the time, I'm doing the washing behind the lens, anterior to the lens. Every bit of visco should be removed. If you leave some visco, there will be an issue. So I'm just removing full visco. That is a must. I try to keep the lenses at the end in 3 and 9 or at a block position in the right hand. So the patient's dysphotopsia is reduced, and you can see that the Purkinje image should be in the center of the IOL. And for this, you are having a big help of the microscope. And hydro is being done in 2 ways. Just to show the hydro part, what I do, that I do hydro of each section, being a small or big, the side port or a main incision. I do hydro in both angles. And I feel because of this, the symmetry is there, the SIA induced is less, as well as the seal is better. So it is required because we don't want any leakage and prevent infection and stability of the chamber. At the end, I can tap with the cannula to see the pressure is how much there. And I close my wound by irrigating at the end itself. This checks out all the debris, if it all is there, be it a chemical or other things. So the risk of infection is nil. I'm not using intravitreal or intracameral antibiotics, but for last many years, I have not seen a single case of endophthalmitis. So I feel these tips are very, very important in preventing infection. Thank you very much for this opportunity from the ARS and Johnson.